Have you ever settled your baby after a feeding, only for them to start acting hungry again 20 minutes later? If so, you may be experiencing something called cluster feeding. And while it can feel exhausting and confusing, it's actually a completely normal part of your baby's development. Welcome to Pump with Harper. Today, we are talking about cluster feeding, what it is, why it happens, and most importantly, how you can survive it without losing your sanity. Cluster feeding is when a baby wants to feed much more frequently than usual over a period of several hours. Instead of feeding every 2 or 3 hours, your baby may want to nurse or take a bottle every 30 minutes, every hour, or even continuously with very short breaks in between. Many parents worry that cluster feeding means their baby isn't getting enough milk. But in most cases, that's not true. Cluster feeding is a normal behavior, especially in newborns. Babies often cluster feed during growth spurts. Their bodies are growing rapidly, and they need extra calories to support that growth. Frequent feeding also helps stimulate milk production for breastfeeding moms, signaling the body to make more milk as the baby's needs increase. Cluster feeding is most common during the first few weeks of life. Many parents notice it around 2 to 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, and sometimes during other developmental leaps. However, every baby is different, and your little one may follow their own unique pattern. One of the most common times for cluster feeding is in the evening. You may find that your baby feeds almost non-stop for several hours before finally settling down for a longer stretch of sleep. This behavior is often called evening cluster feeding and is completely normal. So how can you tell if your baby is cluster feeding and not simply hungry because they're not getting enough milk? A baby who is cluster feeding is typically gaining weight appropriately, producing plenty of wet and dirty diapers, and appears satisfied between feeding sessions, even if those sessions are close together. If your baby is consistently showing signs of poor weight gain, dehydration, or extreme fussiness, it's always a good idea to check with your pediatrician or lactation consultant. Now let's talk about survival strategies, because cluster feeding can be physically and emotionally demanding. First, accept that this phase is temporary. It may feel like it will never end, but cluster feeding usually lasts only a few days at a time during growth spurts. Second, create a comfortable feeding station. Keep water, snacks, your phone charger, burp cloths, and anything else you might need within arm's reach. The less you have to get up, the easier these long feeding sessions will be. Third, stay hydrated and nourished. Your body needs energy, especially if you're breastfeeding. Keep healthy snacks nearby and remember to drink plenty of fluids throughout the day. Fourth, ask for help. If you have a partner, family member, or friend available, let them handle household chores, meal preparation, or diaper changes while you focus on feeding your baby. Fifth, rest whenever possible. Even short naps can make a huge difference when you're dealing with frequent feedings. For pumping moms, cluster feeding can present some unique challenges. If your baby is taking expressed milk, they may request smaller bottles more frequently during a cluster feeding period. Try to follow your baby's hunger cues rather than sticking rigidly to a schedule. If you're exclusively pumping, remember that frequent milk removal helps maintain and increase milk supply. You may need to add extra pumping sessions during periods when your baby is feeding more often. One important thing to remember is that cluster feeding does not mean you're failing. It doesn't mean your milk supply is inadequate. It doesn't mean your baby is spoiled. It's simply one of the ways babies communicate their needs and support their own growth. The early weeks and months of parenthood are filled with challenges, and cluster feeding is one of the most common. But understanding what's happening can make it much less stressful. So if you're currently sitting on the couch with a baby who seems determined to feed all evening long, know that you're not alone. Countless parents have been exactly where you are, and this phase will pass. Your baby is growing, developing, and doing exactly what babies are designed to do. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to Pump with Harper for more pumping, breastfeeding, and newborn care tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.